Perez, and this is Straight Talk, no sugar added. Thank you for being here. This show is created to discuss life topics, to challenge and transform your thinking. Today, I have Kenneth Carter here with me, and he is the president of Ameriton Freight and Logistics. It's a professional freight brokerage firm providing logistics services in businesses in the US and in Canada. And Kenneth's purpose is to fill lives with optimism and work to engender positive self-worth. He believes every person has a purpose and wants to help them see that for themselves. And so I love that. I was reading your bio, and I'm really grateful that you're taking some time to be here on Straight Talk. So thank you, Kenneth. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank
I'm
you for
so
having me.
glad you're here. So I wanted to introduce my audience to you. So if you don't mind, I know I read a little bit, but tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Ooh, where do I start?
Ooh, this is going to be a good conversation.
Yeah.
Whatever
Oh,
you want to mention.
I'll start high school. So because that's when my career started to unfold.
Okay.
Um, right out of high school, playing sports, I was always disciplined, and I went straight to the military right after high school. I drove trucks in the military. I really liked the military in the beginning, and I really liked the idea of it. But later on, during my time, I realized that being in the military is nothing against it, but it's creating followers.
Mm,
And I knew that I wanted to be a leader. I didn't know it was called entrepreneurship at the time, but now I know. Uh, so I got out of the military. I continued to drive trucks, and I started taking over different leadership roles as far as transportation, regional managers, shipping managers, logistics managers of that sort.
mm,
And after that, I kind of start going down the dark road. I started partying a little bit more. From a divorce, I was married really early at 19. So
mm.
after the divorce came, now I'm kind of 23 years old, somewhere around there. And now it's party time for me. I haven't done it yet, you know,
Oh, catching up.
catching up. Yeah. So started to party and I started to drink on the weekends. Weekends turned to 3 days a week, 4 days a week,
Mhm.
5 days a week, 6 days a week. So I started to drink 6 days a week.
Wow.
There's no sugar added, so I'll just be straight up with it.
Yeah, be straight up.
I I was introduced to Coke,
Hmm.
and they told me that Coke will help me balance out the
Yeah, I
drunkenness.
heard that too from people that if they're like have a high like a hangover or something, it's supposed to like straighten you right up or something, right?
Yeah, it does, and it straightens me to the wrong weight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So instead of just listening to it like you did, I actually took the advice and tried it,
Mm,
and it was very addictive. And the little bit that I had at that time, I couldn't get any more. I couldn't find any more. So I had a bright idea, which I thought was at the time, is if it's so hard to find, I'm always accessible. Why don't I just sell it?
right.
Which is crazy way of thinking, but that's how it started. So then I started doing it, and the more I did it, the more I got involved into the lifestyle, to the point where I quit my job because I was making more money doing that
Right.
and not seeing the future. You can make more money now, but that doesn't mean that it's something good.
Right.
So I was starting to make money. So I'm in the club 6 days a week. I'm drinking 6 days a week, and I never had a path. I was just kind of going day for day, and that's where things started to go bad.
So when you had gotten out, were you first of all, let me back up a little bit. So when you went into the military, which branch did you go to? Army or
Uh,
Navy?
Army,
Army. And when you went, were you driving trucks there for the military? Is that what
yeah,
got you? Okay, got it. And
started.
so when you came out, you were already driving trucks, right? Which is what you liked doing. And then you left that so that you can sell, right? Because you were making more money selling, right?
Right, right,
It's funny how you're right back to the beginning, right? To that genesis where you wanted to be, right? Which was the truck driving.
right.
Yeah.
I wanted to be there, and I'm still a part of it, so it's
Yeah.
it's great.
Did you that road that you took, I know that sometimes these roads, right, that we take and that hurt us also really benefit us, doesn't it? Like you are the man you are today because of that road that you took.
Okay.
So did you get like into it so much? Like, were you doing it for years, or did you, have did you get in trouble? Did you slide through? How did you manage selling and stuff, because you were using, right? So you had to really control yourself, right?
Yes,
You're
definitely.
gonna
Yeah, I was really controlled. Uh,
Okay.
I mean, as much as you could be, but I was really
Right.
controlled because I love money more than I love the feeling.
Got
But
it.
I did it for 5 years straight.
Oh, wow. It's a long time.
Yeah, it
Right.
is. So during that 5 years, I didn't even realize it was 5 years. I knew it was 5 years later, looking back on the time, because I was so stuck in that rut,
Right.
just doing the same thing day for day. And day for day for 5 years is a long time.
Right. It is.
It's bad. But
Hmm.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, no, no. I was gonna say, and what you're saying is so powerful too when you were explaining your story, because I don't think that most people that get into selling or using do it with the intention to want to be a user and a seller. Like, they don't grow up saying, "Oh, I want to be a drug dealer." Not most people anyway, right?
Right.
So it's really empowering when, to let people know that there's a way out of this, and also to be careful, right? Because that happened to you not all of the sudden. It took you some time, but you actually ended up building that life, right? Because you went from just drinking one day a week to actually selling drugs. Like, it took, I'm sure it wasn't like an overnight thing, right? It was a process.
Yes. I never thought about it like that. It went from one drink a day or drinking one day all the way to selling drugs.
Mhm.
And when
Mhm.
you look at it like that, it's definitely a good way to look at the bigger picture and
Right.
to see how something so small can turn into something so much larger.
Right? I mean, and it's like all these little decisions, right, that start to accumulate and really put you on whatever path you're going to go on. If you decided not to have those drinks 2 and 3 days a week, it could have been a completely different outcome,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. So when you were, selling all your drugs and stuff, were you getting yourself into trouble as well? Like, were you having to, steal, or were you having to do any of those kind of things to, like, obtain your habit, or were you pretty, like, to the book, like you knew exactly what you were doing, how to do it?
Yeah, I didn't do any other crimes.
Awesome.
I was the selling was enough money that I could live off of. So I got to the point to where I was making enough money where I could pay the rent for in one day for the month.
Oh, wow, okay. Now
And
that's
so
addicting. That's addicting itself.
that's what it was. It wasn't the drug, it was the money.
Right. Yeah, all
That's
the
the
money,
real
yeah,
addiction.
for real.
You know, yeah. So selling drugs is one. I mean, doing drugs is a problem, but selling drugs is the real addiction.
Mhm, mhm.
Is that's when you're really addicted because now you have the opportunity to have so much in front of you. If you're just selling, I'm sorry, you're just using, you take 10, 20, $30 and you're scraping up some change and you
Mhm.
buy it. But when that drug is actually making you the money, and then you have an abundance of that drug and an abundance of money, now it's like, well, where are your limits at?
Right. Well, you're a smart businessman, you know that, right? Even then, because you said to yourself, "Am I gonna be scraping up $20 and $40 here, or am I gonna make some money so I can actually support my habit?" Right? So you're already thinking like an entrepreneur, you know?
Yeah, I, that's the problem. I had that entrepreneurial thought when I first had it the first time, and I'm like, I can make some money off this.
Right.
Just the wrong venture.
That's right. Right. But you figured it out. I mean, it's funny, right? Because I'm just thinking of, like, people in my life in the past when I was much younger and stuff, who were also very intelligent and got into the bad, got into selling drugs and gang life and all of that. And I think they're so intelligent, like they could have so used that to build a business or do something differently, right? So it's just amazing when you were saying that, like, wait a minute, I can make some money. And I'm like, that's so smart. Like, not smart that you were doing the drugs, but it was a smart decision to make, right? Because you could have just went through the addiction itself without actually trying to create money or a business out of it. Right?
Right,
That's
right.
so
I,
funny.
I lost 3 years of my life going to prison for it, but I would have lost a lot more if I
Mm,
would have just been an addict
right.
and not the dealer.
Right. Right. So you went to jail for 3 years, huh? Oh, that's tough. That must have been tough and scary. Was that scary?
No, and I'm not saying it to play tough. The problem was I wasn't really here. You
Oh,
know,
gotcha.
the whole 5 years, it just whatever happened happened. When I got into prison, I didn't even realize I was in the prison. I was just so lost. I
Mm,
wasn't even seeing clearly. So it was just another thing that's happening in my life. And that's what made me stop one day about 3 months in and realize, hold on, you cannot just live day for day.
mhm.
There's you have to do something. And that's when I started to plan my life and build up my core strength, which started by identifying weaknesses.
And that was while you were in prison, you mean?
Yes, 3 months in.
Oh, yeah, because you were your brain finally cleared up a little bit,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, no alcohol, no drugs. It's like, okay, now you're back to who you really are.
Yeah. Was that a scary moment for you, you think? Or, I mean, I guess what I'm trying to ask is, were you trying to escape something to begin with when you were drinking?
That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I don't have the greatest childhood, uh, but I don't believe that triggers anything because once you're 20 something years old, there's no way I believe that you can start blaming something that happened to you when you was 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. You made those decisions because of the age you are now and your maturity.
Mhm.
So the decisions that I made as an adult, I made those because I was an adult.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I made those saying, no one can tell me what to do. No one could run my life, which was a bad way of thinking, but that independence really hurt me,
Right. Do
and
you
like
think do you think the independence thing was a rebellion thing? I don't know what happened when you were a kid, but I'm just wondering if it was more like nobody's going to tell me what to do because in the past people have hurt me or have told me what to do. You know what I mean? Like I'm wondering if it was a rebellion, a pushback, right? You're going to take control of your life.
right. Well, as you're saying it, I'm thinking the childhood could have a lot to do with the pushback
Mhm.
and the freedom now, and also in high school, as a child, I played sports all the time, so there was structure. I went to high school, I played football and ran track. There was structure. I went straight from the high school to the military.
Military,
There
yeah.
was structure.
Right. And
So the
marriage. Marriage is
and in
structure.
marriage, the most structure is there.
Right. Exactly. That's probably worse than the military.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like going home to your job.
Right. 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 But I'm just wondering, if that was the pushback, right? Because I think that we all make decisions that hurt us sometimes. And then you always have to wonder, why do we make a decision that hurts us sometimes, or causes self-sabotage or pushes back to from our well-being, right?
Right.
Because I mean, normally you wouldn't, like right now, I'm assuming that you're completely clean and free of all of that, right?
Oh
Right?
yeah.
Right. So you found your center, you found your place in you, right? At
Right.
least I think so, right? Because you're not thinking the same way you were before,
No,
right?
not
So,
at all.
right. That's what I mean. Like, so something must have been missing back then that made you kind of go that way, right?
Yeah, I needed structure.
Yeah.
I do, and I need to be held accountable. And that's
That's
just
good. That's good.
everyone's different.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that holds me accountable now is my business.
Mm-hmm.
It's because I mean, every day I work from home, I could just lie in the bed until I want to, until I get up and say, oh, okay, I will do whenever. I
Mm-hmm.
don't have that mentality. I'm still waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning. My first part of my structure is going to the gym.
That's good.
So the gym is my new drug. It really is.
That's good.
It's when I'm at the gym, if you see me, you think I'm crazy. My headphones are on, I'm jumping around, I'm singing, I'm laughing, I'm smiling. And those are the things that makes me happy now.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that
So
good? Yeah.
I had to replace it. I had to replace that bad for something
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's no such I don't believe that there's such a thing as getting rid of a habit. I think you have to replace a habit, because I think we leave a gap if we think we're just going to get rid of it, but if you replace it with something healthy, then you're now just developing a new habit and a new pattern as opposed to still having a empty hole there, So you have gone from prison and everything you've gone through, but when I was reading your bio, you were saying that you want to show that every person has a purpose. right? So how are you doing that? How are you reaching people, and what are you doing to show people that they do have a purpose, that there is worth?
Well, first of all, in the company, I hire without experience.
Oh, that's
Uh,
good.
as freight brokers, you have to have experience, what they call a book of business, and no one will hire you. So people go take these
Mm-mm.
classes and these trainings, and they still cannot get hired. My job is to hire people without the experience to show them, listen, they may not give you an opportunity there, but I'm going to give you the opportunity, and it's up to you
Oh,
to
that's
see
so good.
if you want to do it. So
Hmm.
that's that purpose right there. First of all, it's like this guy's giving me a chance.
Hmm.
Second of all, I'm not background checking anybody because if I did, I'd probably lose my own job, my own company.
Right.
It wouldn't
Right.
work.
Right. No, I
So
get
that's
that. Yeah.
so that's
Yeah.
that's the second opportunity. That there goes potential and purpose right there. And that stemmed from me being in prison, looking into that mirror one day and say, "Oh my God, you're in prison 3 months in." And right at that moment, I said, "There's no way that this is my destiny.
Mm.
I have a purpose and I have potential, and I'm not gonna let this go away." And that
Right.
just kickstarted.
Right. And that was a really smart move, Kenneth, because were you given 5 years, or did you just get out 5 years because of good behavior, or what were you sentenced?
I was sentenced 3 years. I was facing 90 years,
Whew.
which is crazy.
Woo.
And I got out early behavior at 2.5 years.
Okay. Wow. So, I mean, that was a really intelligent move to make 3 months in, right? Because you could have wasted most of that time boo-hooing about yourself, you know, and being angry and I'm a bootstrap kind of girl. I put my boots and strap them on and I do what I got to do, right? Not everybody's like that. But what I'm saying is that is really clearly a mentality of a leader, right? Because you said, okay, I effed up. I'm in jail, but I'm not going to stay here. This is not where I'm going to stay. I know that. Right. So you took 3 months in. Now you knew you had this thing in front of you, this 3 to 5 year, sentence in front of you, and you still decided to do something different besides waste your time.
Yeah,
Do
I had
you?
to fast forward it. I had to.
Mhm.
I wasn't looking at tomorrow anymore. And I realized that that was my problem.
Mm.
I'm sorry, not even looking at all. So when the one person is thinking, "Oh man, I got tomorrow, I got to do, and I got the next 2 years, I got to do," I changed my perception of time and realized that I'm gonna run out of time really, really fast. Because
So
even in
good.
real life, 2 years is nothing, and you see it all the time,
That's
especially
true.
with kids. You're like, oh
Yeah.
my God,
Yeah.
my daughter's graduating next month, and and I'm like, wow, where did
You're
that
like,
time
yeah, exactly. Like, where did that
come?
happen? Yeah, exactly. But you're in
So,
jail. So that's a different story, right? When you're
yeah,
in
yeah,
jail, 2 years feels like 20. I'm
yeah, it
assuming.
does. At first,
Right.
but I'm gonna tell you
Okay.
what made me change is it was that way of thinking. So I can say I got 2 years left, or I can say I only have 2 years left.
That's
If
so
I
good.
only have 2 years left, those one word only. That one word changes everything because
Hmm.
only having 2 years left means you're running out of time and you better get something done.
That's
And I
so
had to get
good.
something done.
Do you think the military, that mindset from the military helped you?
No,
Okay.
I try. I don't believe that anything in my past or in our past really pushes us to do the next thing. I think it's decisions, and then you make excuses about what this did and how this was,
Okay.
and that's me. I feel like every decision is independent of itself. I may be
Okay.
wrong.
Okay. So you're more of the idea that present is what matters. Present is what matters, right? What
Yes,
what what decision I make right now matters, right? I'm more of the idea that when you make a decision, you have to think about your 80-year-old self, because what you do now affects that person. You know what I
that's the
mean?
best way to think, and that's the mentality I had in prison. It was like, well, I'm gonna get out. Then
Right.
what?
Then
A,
what?
lo-
Right.
a lot of the people in there, they have a mentality of, I'll figure it out when I get out.
Yeah.
When you get out, it's too
It's
late.
too late. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But that mentality is what got you where you are right now, because you were able to say, okay, 2 years is nothing. I have to get this done now. So when I get out in 2 years, I got this.
Right.
Right. So those decisions are super important. And what you're doing, Kenneth, is really powerful, because I know, like I said, I've had, people in the past who have, gone to jail and stuff, and it is super hard for them to get a job. It is super hard for them to get back on their feet. And then people are always pointing fingers like, oh, there he goes again. But they don't realize the struggle that that person really does have getting employed again. It's not easy, when everybody's background checking you, even for dishwashing positions, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's, do you ever feel like going back to the prison to give back? Is that ever crossed your mind? Or do you just say, nope, my past and I'm moving forward? How do you deal with that part of it?
I believe that would be selfish because
To do,
I've
yeah,
learned and I've grown from it. So I have been back to my work release center and spoke with the
perfect.
guys,
Yeah,
and I'm actually setting up to plan. Of course, COVID happened, but I'm
yeah.
planning to go back and visit prisons, and I'm in talks with a lot of people that's already doing those things, so I can be able to go and share my story.
Good. That's important. That's why I was asking, because sometimes, and there's not really a right or wrong answer. Sometimes people just move forward because they don't want to look back, right? They don't want to go to that trauma. But I'm like you, I feel the same. Like, it is selfish, right? Because you've learned so much, and you can also impact a young, person in there too, that may be like, oh man, it's my first time in jail. That's it. I'm done. And you can literally just, flip that switch. No, you're not. You only got 3, 4 years. You better go ahead and get this going, right? You can get educated in there. You can read in there, and that you have a lot of time. There's a lot of time on your hands,
A
you
lot.
know, sometimes it's the clearest part. I have a relative who went to jail for something he didn't do. And he was in jail for 6 months trying to fight this false charge, which he won. But the 6 months transformed his entire life, because
Wow.
while he was in there, he was like, stop smoking, stop drinking, he stopped doing everything, came out and fixed his entire life. And he's like, oh, he said, it took me one time, and it wasn't even my fault, but it took me one time. He ain't going back.
That's it. That's it. Uh, my daughter always says I'm scared straight.
Right, exactly. That's so funny. But what a wonderful gift to give her too, right? Dad, who dad was and who dad is, right? It just
Yeah.
shows her to overcome.
Oh, she loves it. She sends me messages and text messages like, "I'm so proud of what you've become. I'm so happy for you. I know you're
Oh
gonna do
man, that's
great."
so cool.
And from hearing that from your child is
Yeah.
very touching.
Best feeling in the world, ain't it?
It is.
It
I
really
posted
is.
on social media, and she's like, "Why'd you do that?" but
Hello.
but it does. At one point when you're down that road, you don't care about anybody but yourself.
Yeah.
You can give money away, you can buy your kids this and whatever, but you really only care about yourself because you're never thinking about if something happens, you're taking yourself away from those kids,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and that's a
Yeah.
big issue.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, were you, was she already on this planet when you went into jail? Was she born?
Yeah, I have two kids.
Oh, you have
So
two. Okay.
yeah, one was 17 and one was 14.
That's how old they are now?
No, that's how old they were when I went in,
Oh, okay. Okay.
and
Okay.
now they're 17 and 21.
No,
Something, yeah,
my God.
17, 21. So there's
Like this, Kenneth, like this.
yes, yes,
Like this. So
but
now that you're out and you're like looking forward and you're doing that now, I know that you have a Ameriton Freight and Logistics. What do you want to do? Like, what is it that you see yourself wanting to do or doing moving forward?
you mean as far as the company goes or my personal
As
goals?
far as far as you are concerned, your
I
life.
want to be a public speaker. I want to be able to go
Oh, good.
around and travel and talk to people. That's my
That's
ultimate goal.
fantastic.
The freight company is a vehicle to get me there.
Mm-hmm.
And how I explain the company is you have to have something to show that you're working on and something that you're doing. So you can't just come out and say, "Oh, I'm doing good. I'm doing good." What 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 are you doing? What are you doing though?
That's so funny. That's funny. That's true, isn't it? That's good. That's good.
It
Okay.
has to be something tangible.
Right. Right. I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm good.
I'm
That's
doing
so
good.
funny.
Yeah. So my plan for the company is to go international,
Oh, wow.
and that's a That's a very large goal.
Yeah.
But being able to go international with the company and then turn that to my personal journey and
Hmm.
me going international to speak with people who's been through troubles, that's, I mean, you're the global. Once you go global, you're there. You can
Yeah.
reach people in both
Yeah.
ways. I can reach them with my service and with my experiences.
Right. And your experiences already are global, right? They're already something that everyone needs, right?
Yes,
You're the only one with that message right now because you're the only Kenneth right now. So because of that, right, you can impact people right now. And that's the whole reason for, you, I'm sure, for you being on podcasts and being on, Zoom and stuff like that, because you're trying to touch and reach as many people as you possibly can. Right.
yes.
And these things, you never know who sees what, and you just never know who knows who, you know. So I'm really proud of you. I'm really proud of the path you're taking, and I'm proud of what you've overcome, because yeah, I mean, we get ourselves in trouble, but it's how we get out that speaks about who we are, you know?
Definitely.
And you are stepping forward, and you're stepping forward and saying, well, I'm going to step forward, but I'm going to also take all of my experiences to impact the lives of other people. And to me, I mean, that's everything to me, right? Because to me, it's really about serving others. I really love serving others. And when you see somebody's light bulb go off, or transform, they transform their lives, you're like, man, if I only reach that one and that's what happened, I'm good, you
Yeah,
know? I mean, because you, like, think about it this way, Kenneth. I mean, you were the one, right? So you're the one. Let's say you're in prison, you're the one, and you shifted your mindset, but now look at how many people you're touching, right?
right.
So if you transform the one Kenneth in there somewhere, right? You don't know what he's going to do with that.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's touching. That's whew, that
It's
was.
true.
I never thought about it like that.
Yeah. You
Wow.
you know, you have to, because your life, your story is pretty awesome, and it is impactful. And I just think about other people that go through that stuff, that don't know how to get out of their own way, and don't know how to get out of stuff, and don't have support, Kenneth. A lot of people don't even have support, right? So when you're using your voice, you are that support, right? You are the one that they're listening to, saying, oh yeah, man, when that guy Kenneth was talking, this happened. Right. So you just never know how you impact a person. I never take those things lightly. And your words are so impactful. I don't take words lightly either, you know, right? So you can make or break someone with your words. So, kudos to you, really. I mean, listen, even your daughter, right, who's like telling you, I'm really proud of you, Dad. Those words mean everything to you. Tell me they don't. They mean everything, right? Because words are so powerful.
They are.
So kudos to you, dude. I'm really, really proud to have met you. I'm happy that we talked. I really want to know how we can follow you and support you and see what's going on with Kenneth.
Oh,
And
great.
in the future, I hope that one day, when you're out there actually, doing that international speaking stuff, that you don't forget the little people, come back on my show.
I'm gonna bring you. You can interview me.
Hey, let's do it. I'll do it. You think I won't? Yes, I will. I'll be right in that freight truck, right with you, wherever you're in Dubai, or wherever you're going to be. No, I'm really, really glad that you took the time to talk to me today. Really, really awesome. So before I let you go, there's two things I want. One, I want you to give us a word to my audience, or to anybody that's listening, to encourage them, if you can. And the second thing is, just tell us how we can find you on social media and follow you and so on.
Got it. So, for me to inspire others, I like to give their advice and tell people to own it and divorce it.
Ooh,
What that means is,
ooh, okay. I like that, because I always say, own your shit, own it.
yeah.
I never did the divorce stuff. I like that. I'm going to write it down. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Ooh,
Oh,
ooh.
that was too good.
Yeah. So to own it means to just be held accountable.
Mhm.
You know what? It's my fault. I did it. I was wrong. I went through it. There's nothing we can do about that. But you have to accept it. Once you accept it, you let it go. You divorce it. It's over. Stop living it. Because if you're living something that happened to you 10 years ago, guess
Mhm.
what? You're still there. The only thing that has passed is the time, but you're still in the same spot.
Wow.
and that hurts. So
Mm,
own it and divorce it.
I love it. I'm using that. Don't
Yeah.
think I'm not. You're gonna see it on my social media. Kenneth said, own it and divorce it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So tell me where we can really support you and follow you and see all you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you. So today was the first day that I posted a video on YouTube. And I have so many people asking me, hey, how did you do this? How'd you do that? So I'm going to start creating videos for everyone and answer those questions.
Oh, nice.
And it's called Kenneth Carter Speaks.
Okay.
And that's how the YouTube, I'm working on my website, kennethcarterspeaks.com. That's coming soon. I try to do everything.
Ahead with your bad self. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Thank you.
Ain't nothing wrong with it. And how about your social media handles? Are you on social media?
Yes. So LinkedIn is Kenneth Carter, the Roman numeral 3.
Mhm.
And all the social media handles is at Ameriton Freight. And
Okay.
also AmeritonFreight.com.
That's awesome. Oh, Kenneth, this was a great conversation.
It was
Thank
nice.
you so much. I really, really enjoyed this. And I'm really excited for all you're going to do. I'm excited for your website and everything coming out. And I hope that you do share that and keep us. I know that I think we're linked in LinkedIn. So, hopefully when you announce it all, so I can go on there and check everything out. But if I can support you in any way, please, reach out. Let me know how I can support you. If you have anything coming out, a new gig, a book, or anything like that, and you want to announce and be on my show, I'm more than happy to have you back.
The book's
So,
in the making now. I keep getting
ah,
requests about books. So that's next.
good. You should. You really should. Just start writing. Don't even think about it. Just start writing. Even if you're doing one sentence a day. I wrote my book too. It took time, but if you just start, you'll finish. Especially with your mentality, you'll be done. You
That's
know.
that's life, right? If you just start, you'll finish.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Oh, all right. We're going to go on for another 30 minutes. So let's just. Oh my gosh. Thank you. And thank you guys so much for being here, for listening and watching. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. This is Straight Talk, no sugar added. And I'm Neena Perez. Until next time.